Hello and welcome to the vlog, and it is a special vlog, for 'tis the first proper cruising vlog of 2019, and what is more, it's all changed because I have given up my mooring. For the past 2.5 years I've been paying a retainer on a mooring that I could come back to over winter and also in summer when it's peak time on the canals. And now I have left that behind. I have said goodbye, farewell, and I am once more a proper, genuine, bona fide being the operative word, continuous cruiser, ambling up and down the canals. Now this is the North Oxford Canal, and I am very near the point where the winter cruise video that I think was in January, wasn't it? The winter cruise video. We ended that one roughly at this same spot, so I'm going to pick up from here. I didn't see any point in showing you coming through Rugby again because it was only a few weeks ago I last did that. So All Oaks Wood is just over there. The Coventry Canal is that way, and my destination for today, Hawkesbury Junction. As usual, before I set off, there are some basic engine checks to do. First of all, the tightness and condition of the alternator belt. Then the oil level, especially with an engine that drips as much oil as mine does. And finally, a check on the coolant in the header tank. A quick twist on the stern gland greaser is essential, as is attaching the tiller arm. Engine fired up, just a few more things to do. I like the solar panels flat for travel. I don't know why, I just do. The chimney needs to come off and be stowed, lest it be ripped off by a low bridge. And likewise for the TV aerial. This is, without fail, covered in spiders and their webs. They love it, so not my favourite task. Pretty much ready for the off now, so time to undo the bow line from the T-stud. Then pull the mooring pin out, or take the chains off, depending how I'm moored. And gently push the bow out. Narrowboats pivot in the middle, so the back will stay where it is when you do this, plus at this point it was still tied on anyway. But once the stern line's also removed, a quick blast of throttle gets the boat underway. All the usual wildlife is swimming around, hoping for a feed. Is it weird to say I like this towpath? A wide enough grassy bit that you could bang mooring pins into if you wanted, yet also a decent sized path for pedestrians as well. Lots of space, unlike some. I'd only gone a few hundred yards by this point and was coming round now to the place where we moored at the end of that winter cruise I mentioned. There it is, a nice spot. I remember when I passed it 3 years ago asking viewers what the metal things are in this bridge, but I admit now, and this is the truth, I did already know. It was just a ploy to get people commenting on the video. I do that sometimes, it helps boost the ratings. Shameless, but it works. If you're listening in stereo, you'll hear this boat pass on the left. Beyond the bridge you enter a stretch where you're warned to go slow because of landslips on the offside, which is unnerving. See here how the fallen trees are marked. Again, this hasn't changed in 3 years. You'd hope they might have stabilised and cleared it by now. On the towpath side, some love clearly has been shown. People sometimes ask if narrowboats ever have wheel steering instead of a tiller. The answer's yes, but as on this boat, it's generally for disabled access reasons. You tend to find wheels more on wide-beam boats. The bridge marks the end of the go slow bit, but I must put the camera down as there's a boat coming, and I prefer not to crash into other craft. Around the next corner is Stretton Stop, where there is a boatyard and also a water point which I want to stop at, although from having a look on Google Maps it looks like it might be a bit tight for space. And although today is beautiful, lovely and sunny, apparently there's some really wet and cold weather coming for the rest of the week, so I might try to buy a bag of coal as well, I think. Some very pleasant looking long-term moorings here, well, apart from the stony edges of the canal which bang against your base plate. Stretton Stop and Rose Narrowboat hire is just behind this bridge, as is the solo boater's nemesis, a swing bridge, although actually this one's really easy to do. And joy of joys, someone's coming through the other way anyway, so they'll leave it open for me. And they said hello as they passed.
Morning, you right? Very well, thanks.
Having passed the bridge, the channel is narrow enough to just stop the boat, jump off and shut the bridge before getting back aboard again, with no ropes or mooring required. There's the water point, and in fact plenty of space for me too. So I tied up, unravelled the hose and started filling. Like many taps on the canals, it was rather drippy and very low pressure. So while I waited, I bought that bag of coal and opened and closed the swing bridge for a couple of passing boats. Well, that was the slowest tap ever. It was like Kath was operating it. Took ages. So, rather later than expected, I set off again. A lot of people commented on my recent electric boats videos that there ought to be a way to recharge using the railway power grid, and now I think of it, it's not a bad idea. And also on the topic of electric power, this long stretch of moorings is one of the few places on the canal where a wind turbine might actually be some use. Generally the wind's a bit too low and intermittent, but at this site there's wide open fields to the left and a slight gradient on the right, which seems to sweep a constant breeze across the boats, and there are several with turbines fixed not to the boat but to the mooring, although that one's not doing much. It's all very spring-like, but despite the plentiful greenery there is a constant whoosh in the background, which turns out to be coming from the M6 motorway which crosses the canal here. Going under, it's a cathedral of concrete. Feels a bit like a building from ancient Greece. I like waving to people on the trains here. A driver waved back once, which was nice. At this point, the canal diverges from the rails, heading left in a long sweeping curve past a golf course. There were many people golfing as I cruised past. Coming into the village of Anstey, there's another orange buoy, but I know not what it signifies. There are official visitor moorings here, unlike round the corner where, for no good reason, it's all sternly marked as no stopping. Even the Swan hurried on through. You know you're starting to get closer to Hawkesbury when the electricity pylons appear. There's a huge substation or something of that ilk here, and all the wires for miles around head towards it on their giant metal stalks. Lots of swans today. And less welcome visitors to the canal too.
I'm coming up to the private arm of the Coventry Cruising Club, and if I remember rightly from 3 years ago, there was a very rude word graffitied on the brickwork of the bridge over the arm last time. Let us see if that has stayed or been removed.
But before we do, another swan doing as they often do and parading serenely in front of the boat before eventually being swept sideways by my bows. They always get out of the way in the end. Ah, here's the arm, and it looks like new brickwork has replaced the prior unpleasantness. Another familiar sight hides in the undergrowth. Someone here has a massive collection of ancient Volkswagens in their garden. This is just a small sample, there's loads of them. As we head towards the junction, the metal overlords stare down, perhaps plotting to take over humanity. These info boards are a great idea, but I wish they were bigger. They're quite hard to read as you go past, and they can't possibly be readable from the towpath side. There's that electrical thingy. And here am I, moored at Hawkesbury. On a bend, but it'll have to do, it was the only space available. Solar panels tilted to the sun, my mission now to get a cheese sandwich and a cup of tea for lunch. Cheerio!